Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformer Studio Series Dropkick SS, let's see which one was 22. Yep, it's my second Studio Series toy. And it's another helicopter, go figure. And box he comes in is once again the Studio Series box. You know, got the artwork which does not match the toy at all for reasons. Transformers logo and all that stuff. Oh, look, Bumblebee, the movie coming out in like less than a month now. You got the nice clear cutout up here for lighting up the figure on the shelf. Got more artwork. Still more artwork. Oddly enough, Autobot symbol because they're all like that. Copyrights and whatnot. On the back, you got the render and stuff, which interesting also has a thing where it's the Decepticon logo right there on the figure. But he's not on the actual figure. That's weird. But yeah, I also got all the other stuff you can get. All that stuff. Big screen inspired, scale, detail, backdrop, etc. Yeah. And of course, in the box, you got the backdrop. Which I gotta get this stuff out of the way. The tray. The backdrop. In the box. Yeah, he's got his backdrop. You can see that. It's once again still cardboard just like before. This one's got a bunch of planes and stuff flying around. Expanded out. It says that 22 on it. It's nice. It's kind of thick cardboard, but still it's just cardboard. It's kind of cool, but one of those things like it's probably just going to go in recycling. I have no use for it. It's going to just take up space on the shelf. And in the box with this figure, he also comes with his instructions, which are the kind of generally pretty easy to read. Nice light colors. And yes, this is apparently a Cobra helicopter. An actual licensing thing. But yeah, I'm starting in robot mode, as you probably have noticed already. But I'm just going to zoom in a bit, because, well, you can probably see something about it, which is he's kind of on the small side. He's kind of small. He's a deluxe, and he's not exactly large. But it's a gray and blue robot with some black bits as well. And yeah, I'm starting in robot mode because, well, I'm kind of doing this guy a little favor, really. Because he's kind of more impressive going into his alt mode than coming out of it. So yeah, he's kind of, you can tell, you know, again, gray and blue with some black and red, a little bit of red right here on the knees. He's got pretty neat head sculpt. I think my camera might be a little too far away. That may be better. Hopefully it's better. All right, pretty nice head sculpt, except, well, there's some silver and red. You know, you can see the red for the eyes. Some silver and stuff. There's some stuff I think is lost just because of size. The detail's a little lost. But yeah, it's still a pretty nice head sculpt overall. But yeah, it's a gray and blue robot for the most part, and he looks pretty good at like this. He's a little tiny again. He's very small in most ways. He's skinny. He's small. He's a pretty good looking robot. He's it's still a live action movie robot, so do with that what you will. All that stuff. Just to give you an idea of how small he is, here he is next to the Siege Hound, and he's a full head smaller. He is small. I mean, it's just a shrimpy little guy. So he's kind of a difficult sell for some people because of that. But he does look nice at the very least. He does have his little twin Gatling guns of sorts. They're hollow on the inside, but that's because of how they transform. But he looks nice. And he's got some decent posability. His head is on a ball joint, so it can look left and right. It can look up and down a little bit. It's very stiff and very tiny, hard to manipulate for me. His shoulders are on ball joints. They go forward and back, and they can twist. But outward, you kind of have to do this weird thing of you have to move it forward like this and outward. And then it's bumping into his head. But he does have outward. It's just kind of a weird joint. He has a bicep swivel, which is really tight. But it is there. He does have elbows, which are about 90 degrees. It looks like more or something, but it's really not. It's just because of the shape of the arm, but it is 90 degrees. No waist joint because of his transformation. There's just nothing there he can do. He does have ball jointed hips, so forward and back, outward pretty far. And there's a thigh swivel. And his hips, you can do, because of the transformation, you can kind of do this and extend them downward. This one's a little tight. But you can kind of extend them downward if you really want to give him a I guess, slimmer profile. Make him a little taller and slimmer. You can do that. That's again in the way. I'll talk about those in just a second once I'm done with this. But yeah, you can do that if you want. But you are supposed to do this. And you got knees. You got very deep knee. It's a single joint, but it's very deep bend. You can see that partially because of the transformation. And no ankle articulation whatsoever. So, yeah. A little limited just because of the lack of waist, but otherwise, and the weird shoulders, but he's still got fairly solid posability overall. But yeah, those things right here, these back things in the back, these are little vent things for the helicopter mode. And the ball joints are extremely loose. They're supposed to be posed up like this. They're supposed to be posed up like this, but they're really low, so it doesn't take much for them to just kind of start flopping around like that or whatever. They'll start doing that. But yeah, they're not exactly tight. And they're supposed to stick up like that. And it doesn't take much for them to just kind of do this and they get in your way. That's the other thing, is also this rotor can also get in the way a bit too. It likes to, because there's a joint there, so it likes to sometimes will bend forward and then it'll start getting caught up on everything. So that's a little in the way. And this part right here for the helicopter skids will still sometimes bend outward because they don't lock into place, which is unfortunate. And they'll sometimes do that and they'll start getting caught on the rotors or whatever. That's a little frustrating, honestly. That stuff's a little frustrating, but it looks good. It's just there's some weird frustrations, particularly with some loose joints and whatnot, particularly the backpack stuff. Because it's disappointing too, because yeah, it does look a little it's either frustrating. And there's this stuff too. This can get in the way for some people, I guess. I would not surprise me if some people get upset about this stuff. And unfortunately, unlike the movie, he is not a triple changer, and I can see why, particularly with the way it transforms and everything. There's no real way to fit a car and a helicopter in the same guy without compromising something pretty severely. So they decided to, he's just a helicopter for the toy. I'm not sure if he's getting a second toy where it turns into a car or what, but there you go. Now, transformation. This is where this guy shines as a transformation, I think. So first thing I like to do, of course, is flip these in. Flip them in and lock them into place. Those will become his new missile pods for the helicopter mode. We'll put them off the side for now. And from here, you just, take these things on the arms and extend them outward. Like that. Straighten them out. Like so. Then you want to take the biceps and swivel around 180. Make sure those are totally straight as well. Swivel around 180. And then take the arms and move out like that. Then you want to open up this part of the cockpit. Open that up and then lift the cockpit up like this. So it can clear the head. And this frees up these tabs right here so you can unplug those and move this out. Move the arms out like this. And then this... And these joints right here, there's joints right here. You can see them. You want to fold them back like that. So these parts are straightened out like this. Fold it. Again, fold this, fold that right there and straighten that out. Make sure these parts, those vent bits are out of the way. And then you can just make sure that's out of the way too. You can bring them together. Like so. Bring the arms together and they tab in multiple places. Multiple tabs and pegs along the tail here. The problem is, on mine at least, it doesn't like to stay tabbed together. That's the big problem on mine. One part tabs together, the other part untabs. You can kind of see that. So now, see, something's slightly off. So if I let go, you can kind of see there's a slight line, bit of space between. And right now it's fine, but it likes to pop itself out real easily. See, he's already did that right there. See, he just undid it. That's the unfortunate thing, is that tail pit right there likes to undo itself. And I can't figure out what way to fix that. Let's take these little blue pieces right here and flip them down. And just so you know, this parts are supposed to be. Try to keep these are going to kind of flop down a lot, so just try to keep them out of the way as best you can. But They're supposed to be oriented that way. Now take the legs, move them down like this. And this hole right here, this whole section rotates around 180 like this. Like so. And then you can take the cockpit and move it up and close it up like this. And actually right now you actually pretty much have a Gerwalk mode. Kind of really lanky one, but it's a Gerwalk mode of sorts. That's kind of neat. Now what you want to do from here is actually take these little blue pieces on the inside of the leg and fold them out. They'll click into place. Then take the landing skiffs and fold them out like so. And then untab this half of the leg and straighten it out. Actually, before you do that, you want to rotate this around. You want to do that first. This whole blue piece right here will rotate around. So you want to do that. It says rotate this whole blue piece around. Right there, like that. And then you can unpeg this and straighten it out. Then the thigh, you rotate 180. And you want to collapse them up like this. Like that. And then you'll want to, okay, those hip joints I showed you earlier, you'll want to collapse them inwards. And one of them is a little bit of a pain in the butt, and sometimes you'll accidentally do that. Make sure you don't do that. So you'll want to hold this part and move that back. Don't tab them together quite yet, but just start moving them back. And you'll want to start bringing them together, and make sure when you do, there's little tabs right here on the tail, and the legs are supposed to go over top of those tabs. So make sure you have everything lined up first before, that's lined up before you bring the legs together. So right there, those tabs, right there on the tail piece. Make sure it's all lined up, and then you can collapse the thing again. You can see the tails just come apart. I can't seem to get it to cooperate. I suspect this tab right here might be slightly off. I might have to do a little bit of shaving. It seems to be the main culprit. Anyway, sometimes it'll actually lock together, but anyway, that's all. Make sure, yeah, it's all together right there, and then the front and everything, and then you'll just bring it up like that. I'll tab into the bottom. Oh, I did forget something. I always forget this part. Before you actually bring them together, there's a little gun on the left side. Bring that out. I totally forgot about that. It's really easy to forget. Bring the gun out, then you bring it all together and bring it up. It's really easy to forget that. In the process, I untab the tail from the leg. There we go. Take the landing, also it looks okay. So guns out, take the landing skiffs and bring them out a little bit. There's a little click point, and it's going to be a little off because of how it works, but yeah. Then take these vent covers and bring them down. They'll tab in. Because yeah, there's a little tab here that goes in that slot. Bring it all together. Sometimes it'll pop itself back out of here. Just bring it back up. Yeah, it just can be a little persnickety about staying together. That's one thing I've noticed. And then helicopter rotors, do that. And then take the little missile pods, and there's little peg holes on the bottom of the wings. Plug them in. And at that point, you have a Cobra helicopter. Ta-da! Now the fact that big old robot, well, not big, I don't know why I said big, but that robot becomes this helicopter, this skinny, scrawny little helicopter. The fact that turns into this is kind of amazing like, not only that, it's actually a really good looking helicopter. I mean, you can see all the panel lines and stuff from the transformation notes, but there's no weird compromises or anything. There's no weird bits sticking out. It's identifiably a helicopter. It's there's no weirdness except for maybe these hands. It's the only thing I can think of is these hands in the back are the only weird things. Other than that, it looks like a freaking helicopter, and it's amazing that it's this skinny and still turns into a full-fledged robot. That is an amazing transformation. The only problem is, of course, some of the weird tolerances and stuff like on mine. Just the tail doesn't want to stay pegged together for whatever reason and whatnot. It likes to unseat itself. It's an amazing transformation from an engineering standpoint that they took this and made it into a robot. But just some weird QC issues prevented it from being a particularly amazing. But yeah, you got the rotating rotor, although this one is tight, so it doesn't freely spin. But the tail rotor freely spins. So you got that. But yeah, it's just like Blackout. It's just the tail rotor, because it has to do this, it doesn't freely spin. But it is a really nice helicopter, I think. It's got a cool little pirate flag right there on the front. And again, no Decepticon logos, which is also kind of weird. And you've got this stuff right here, like it says jet intake danger, the 001 and the military star thing. It's just a really cool little thing. I mean, you got this head chilling out there, but it's hidden in such a way that it doesn't really look like a head. And it's just, the big thing is just, it doesn't like to stay totally 100% tabbed together without some stuff. Also, there's this weird joint right here for the rotor. You can do that, but then it's like, But you can have it, so I guess it's doing that. Anyway, it's a really nice helicopter, and this is the transformation in this helicopter, kind of the reason you buy it. The robot's kind of, well, spindly, and kind of got some weird kibble. And he's small. He is a small guy. No way around that. So it's like, he costs $20, and the question is it worth $20 for this guy? And it's only really if you're into this helicopter and the transformation. If you're into both of those things, absolutely worth it. If you just want a robot, he's a small one, and he's not a particularly amazing robot. He's an okay robot. He's good. He's merely good, but he's not really worth $20 if the transformation doesn't really excite you. If the transformation and helicopter don't excite you, he's not worth the $20, which kind of is disappointing because I wish he was a little bigger. If he was just a little bit bigger, he'd be fine. I'm not sure why he's so tiny. I wish he was just they just had to make him like half an inch bigger as a robot, and I think it would have been fine. But as it is, he's just so scrawny compared to every other deluxe I've had, almost every other deluxe I've had, that it's hard to really justify that $20 price point. It's just, that transformation is just pretty amazing from an engineering standpoint, and this is a really good helicopter mode. So yeah, it's probably took a little longer than it should have, but And also there's that thing. His center of balance is a little weird, so he'll tip back really easily. Yeah, for some reason the center's like back here, so it doesn't take much for him to fall backwards. But other than that, though, it is a solid helicopter and stuff. So only if you're into the transformation helicopter. Just here for the robot, skip it. It's really hard to justify at $20 unless you can get it for cheaper. If you can get 15 or less, go for it. But otherwise, yeah, that's it. I hope this was somewhat informative, and I hope you are entertained. I hope you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, and I shall see you next time with another video review. Hopefully, it's freaking Skytread. I'm still waiting on my replacement. So, see ya.